Welcome to naturalhorsevet.com, online and on TV. My name's Dr. Moore, and I'm going to be your host this morning for a very special show. Stand by while we thank some of our sponsors.
Welcome to Fair Winds. Fair Winds is located in the heart of the Bluegrass, Lexington, Kentucky, horse capital of the world. We at Fair Winds are dedicated to the preservation and constant improvement of the mountain horse. The brood mares were handpicked for their conformation, gait, and most importantly, temperament. Their champion-producing traits have made Fair Winds renowned for quality stock. Master Stallions, BBF Storm Warning, and Chocolate Venture are proven producers of champions, but more importantly, they are known to produce family-friendly horses. If you're looking for a trail buddy or a champion show horse, come to the source. Fair Winds, proud supporter of Unbridled, Spirit of Kentucky. Hi, I'm Myra Addington at Fair Winds Farm, and we'd just like to give a big thank you to Dr. Dan and his wonderful products, and we especially like his Red Cow. We started using it about 3 years ago, and since then our babies have been up on their pasturance better and just healthier all around. And this is a former brood mare, now show mare, so it shows what this product can do. It's great for breeding operations or showing. We take it to every show. Thank you, Dr. Dan.
Pleasure, performance, or pasture puppy pet, we all want what's best for our horses. Our mission at the Natural Horse Vet is to provide natural alternatives that work.
Try Red Cow, balanced by nature, not by man. It's a healthy replacement to salt blocks, trace minerals, and other electrolytes. Top dress or free choice, you'll see the difference.
It's our goal to provide the most effective natural alternatives for you, your horse, and even your pet. So visit your veterinarian, visit your tack store, or visit us online for our special offers. Welcome back to naturalhorsevet.com. I know you'll agree that we are truly blessed to be around such great creatures and to work with them. You know, it absolutely just gets in your blood. And if you've got horses, you know what I'm talking about. Folks, we've got an awesome show for you today. A show where we're going to share with you a more natural way of health care, and also a show where we're going to introduce you to a truly natural horse. After all, we are naturalhorsevet.com. These horses are phenomenal. It's the mountain horse. It's a horse that's literally gaited the day they're born, smooth to ride, keep you feeling good. Stay tuned while we share some information with you about the mountain horse.
Fair Winds Silk Warning. She's a many-time over conformation winner. She shows a good example of what we look for in a mountain horse. Nice, strong-looking face, nice, soft eyes, fox-like ears, a deep chest that will keep her going for a long time on the trails, a nice round hips, which shows her heritage, that they were very utility-like horse.
The mountain horses have become extremely popular with the baby boomer generation. The gentle horse is for the whole family to enjoy and ride. You'll see many families spending time together on the trails, in the show ring, or just riding around the farm. The extreme gentleness and temperament of this mountain horse gives each rider an enjoyable ride. Each rider sits quietly as the horse ambles through the gate, ambles through the forest, the wooded area, wherever trail that you may want to take. The mountain horses have a natural four-beat gait with no evidence of pacing. With the forward movement, you can count 4 distinct hoof beats, which produces a candidacy of equal rhythm. Note the movement of the legs: left hind, left fore, right hind, right fore. The sure-footedness of the mountain horse excels as a trail mountain, endurance, and eagerness to please. The rider feels comfortable and secure. The show horses have the equal amount of motion and forward movement as they be on the trail.
Keeping a horse in tip-top shape regardless of breed is really not as difficult as you might think. At thenaturalhorsevet.com, we probably have answers for you. So go to our website, read our articles, watch our TV clips. You know, there's issues that you need to check out, like, you know, what do I feed my horse? You know, what supplements do I use? You know, what's critical health care wise? But I know one thing for sure: until you get the minerals right, nothing else matters. So watch with me for just a second a little clip I did not too long ago on national TV. Today I thought we'd talk a little bit about salt and minerals. You know, salt and minerals can either be your best friend or your worst enemy. I think we've got your worst enemies right here. Red blocks, salt blocks, fertilizer. Absolutely no question about it. A horse cannot get what he needs from a block, and he gets too much of what he needs from fertilizers. Now we all want nice lush green pastures, and we all know that horses need salt. Let me just try to explain a little bit about what I'm talking about here. You know, the problem with 10-10-10 or any fertilizer, 20-10-10 or whatever, is it's basically just nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus. If a horse gets too much potassium, it's absolutely deadly. Absolutely no question about it. Now, why would a horse get too much potassium from fertilizer? The reason is grass that you put it on is a living, breathing organism. If grass thinks it's going to die, it obviously wants water. The way it gets that water is it pulls that potassium up from the ground, because that brings the water with it. And when it does, and the horse eats it, it's deadly. The reason it's deadly is the potassium changes the gut pH. If the gut pH changes, then all kinds of problems can happen, like colic, laminitis, or founder. Certainly abortion in your mares is a possibility. But the way they balance that potassium is having available salt and other minerals. The problem with salt blocks and mineral blocks is that they just can't get what they need fast enough to balance that potassium. And that's why it's so important to have another source of salt and minerals. This is a mineral feeder. In this is a free choice, loose form of natural salt and minerals. The loose form is absolutely critical so they can balance that potassium and nitrogen and so on that they get from the fertilizer. What's so unique about this too is that it's an organic source of salt and mineral. See, most salt and minerals, even in the free choice form, are man-made mixes. You know, honest to goodness, you know, I even wonder whether or not man truly knows what horses need. We have recommended daily allowances to go on, but you know, quite honestly, they're pretty outdated. And I honestly think Mother Nature knows more than man does as far as a horse's needs or our needs or grass's needs or whatever. And when man tries to make a mix, sometimes he gets too much of what he doesn't need and not enough of what he does need. I've decided and found that it's best to actually go to natural sources of salt and mineral. You know, with our horses, we actually have a product that we've got from the desert that used to be the ocean. And in that ocean, of course, there was all kinds of micronutrients, maybe even nutrients that we haven't even discovered yet. And these nutrients are attached to this salt and minerals. And that's important because it makes them more readily absorbed. And as far as I'm concerned, this is the single most healthy thing you can do for your horse, is absolutely, without a doubt, have a loose, formula, free choice salt and minerals. No question. If you want healthy horses, throw away the blocks. Be very, very careful with the fertilizer. Definitely don't graze your horses after you put them out on it. And if you fertilize your fields in any way, shape, or form, or if you just want healthy horses in general, make sure they have a loose, granular form of free choice salt and minerals, preferably organic. Thank you. After that clip aired on national TV not too long ago, I was bombarded with the question, but what do I use? You know, what's the natural source of salt and minerals? Well, I'm here to tell you, in my not so humble opinion, that I believe the most effective health care prevention that you can do for your horse is to always make available a product that we make called Red Cow. It's so easy to use that all you have to do is literally just hang a bucket on a fence post and let them have all they want. It's an awesome product. They love it. Without a doubt, check it out. Red Cow. Wood chewing and cribbing. Unbelievable what a horse can do in just a short period of time if they're hungry or if they want something that they're not able to get. So they try to get it from other places like wood. This is definitely a problem for horse owners. If you've ever had a horse that cribs, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I mean, they can absolutely tear your stall apart in short order. They can tear your wood fences down in no time flat. You know, before long, you've got a serious situation, health issues even around the barn because the boards are broken. But how do we prevent this and what causes it? You know, there's a lot of theories as far as the cause of wood chewing and cribbing. One is certainly they do it for a euphoric effect. There's actually a release of endorphins that's produced that gives them this high, this feeling of a high. That's actually been documented and proven. Certainly in this case, we're in a situation where they're close to their food. It may just be boredom that gets them started chewing. But to me, the biggest, most likely cause, in my humble opinion, is they're missing something. They're trying to get something from the wood. Oftentimes they'll even chew on bark of trees if those are in the pasture. Sometimes older trees, sometimes younger trees, but they can literally destroy all your trees in short order. I think they're really trying to find something that they're just not able to get in their diets. Without a doubt, I think our feeds today is a potential source of the problem. They can't get what they need from the feed. It's a so-called complete feed. The problem is you might have an easy keeper that's just eating a little bit of food and maybe not getting those vitamins and enzymes and minerals that they need from that so-called complete feed. That's why I think supplementing every day with the supplement is extremely important to make sure they get what they need. Another thing is salt blocks and mineral blocks. I don't think they get what they need from them either. And the reason is man doesn't even know what they need. So how can we put them in a block? You know, we have some recommended daily allowances that give us an idea, but I think there's minerals today, without a doubt, that we didn't know about 10 years ago. And there's going to be minerals 10 years from now that we don't know about today. So if we don't know about them, how can we put them in a block? And another issue with the block is they simply just can't lick fast enough to get what they need to balance their nutrition. You know, a horse isn't a licker anyway. He's a grazer. And to stand around and lick on a block to get what he needs can make him pretty frustrated. So he turns to other sources of chewing on the wood. One thing in wood, for instance, it's often salt treated. The problem with that is it's often preserved with things like arsenic as well as salts. So sometimes they try to get these nutrients from the wood themselves because they simply cannot get it from the block. Now this particular block is red. I really don't like red blocks, and let me tell you why. The red is iron oxide, and the red iron oxide actually can tie up all the other minerals anyway. It's really archaic why they're red. When I discovered this, it kind of blew me away because way back when they didn't have really good mixing machines, they used to add iron oxide to the mix because their thought process was, well, it's iron, we'll add it to the food or add it to the mix. And then when it fully turns red, it's mixed good. They just forgot that iron oxide ties up all the other minerals. So if you have a wood chewing or a cribbing problem, I want you to definitely consider supplements for your horse. I want you to throw away your salt blocks. I want you to get a free choice loose mineral, preferably a natural source of salt and minerals, so they can get the nutrition that man hadn't even discovered yet. And I think that will greatly help in most cases as far as wood chewing and cribbing.
Stoner Ridge Farm is a full-service mountain horse training facility located in Paris, Kentucky. Whether your horse is a trail horse or a performance horse, good training is everything. At Stoner Ridge Farm, proven horsemanship techniques are used to encourage trust as they teach horses to respect their handlers and learn new skills. For breeding, training, and sales in the mountain horse industry, look no further than Stoner Ridge Farm. Good friends, good times, good horses await you at Stoner Ridge Farm.
Enter through the gates of Signature Stables and you enter into the state-of-the-art equestrian center, dedicated to all the mountain horse breeds. From relaxing pleasure trail riding to the excitement of the competition that the show circuit brings. Signature Stables horses are consistently proven on the trails and in the show ring, with multiple World Grand Champions. So whether you're looking for a facility that understands your horse's needs or you're looking to purchase a world-class mountain horse, Signature Stables of Lexington, Kentucky can make you simply enjoy the ride.
Pest control is always an issue if you have horses. You know, there's flies, there's mosquitoes, there's gnats, there's ticks. There's just all kinds of pests when it comes to horses. You know, you've even got rats in the barn. There's obviously no rats in this barn, as clean as this barn is, that's for sure. But you know, it is an issue. Anytime you have feed and grain, and you're going to be mice and so on and so forth. And you know, the key there is the obvious things there, just keep things clean around the barn. But I really want to spend most of my time today talking about pest control on the horse. And this is an area that I think definitely needs a lot of attention because we use an awful lot of chemicals on our horses today, and in some cases, you know, we need those chemicals, especially, you know, if you're going into a halter class and your horse can't move an inch, so to speak. It's important that you keep those flies off of them. It's important when you're trail riding to keep the flies off your horse because you don't want your horse to kick another horse while it's kicking at a horsefly. If you're just enjoying the horses as a pasture pet, you need to be careful with flies and mosquitoes and ticks because they are, without a doubt, a major problem as far as disease today. You know, many of your allergy horses have fly-related allergies. Many of your very serious diseases like Lyme's disease can be carried by ticks. There's other diseases that you haven't heard quite as much about, but one of them is called Ehrlichia, and that's related to blood-borne insects. All these are real serious problems. And then, of course, there's West Nile, probably the most known about of all of them today. And, of course, that's spread by mosquitoes. So the more that we can do to keep these flies and pests off of our horses, the healthier our horses are going to be and the happier we're going to be, because nobody wants flies around the horse's face. It's just ugly. But there's a couple ways to do that. I mentioned sprays. There's some good sprays. There's some that are better than others. There's spot-on things that you put on their back. Personally, as the natural vet, I'm not too fond of those. They're a very high concentration of chemical, a permethrin chemical, and permethrins are okay, but they're very concentrated in those spot-ons. And the thing about that is when you're petting your horse, where do you pet them? Right where you put the spot-ons. And I don't think anyone needs any more exposure to chemicals than they need to. By the way, since we're in this beautiful barn, there's another way to help control pests in the barn, and that's with misters in the barn. But if you have a horse that has an allergy problem, you want to be careful with that, especially a lung allergy or COPD or heave, so to speak. Because these misters, if you think about it, not only are they taking care of the flies because it is a chemical, but it's also something that you're breathing and something that your horse is breathing. And that's something I think we often overlook. Fortunately, most of those chemicals are pretty safe, like pyrethrins. They're about the safest you can get. And it's important that we use them if we need them, if we have a situation like that. But one way that I've been especially excited about keeping flies and ticks and mosquitoes off of horses is actually through supplementation. You know, the healthier the horse, the less parasites they're going to have. And you can keep them healthy with supplements. And there's some supplements that actually will help keep the flies and mosquitoes off those horses. Garlic's very good. It's an excellent product. It's very safe, to say the least. We use grapeseed. Grapeseed kind of fortifies the skin, strengthens the capillaries. I've had tremendous luck with thiamine. And then another one is diatomaceous earth. Diatomaceous earth actually is fed to the horses, and it actually can help with the larvae in the manure. So there's a lot of ways to control flies in horses and a lot of ways to control mosquitoes and ticks and so on, and you just have to choose what's best for you, and it might even be a combination of all the above. But whatever you do, try to take care of them as best you can and keep those flies and mosquitoes and ticks off your horse. Thanks. Pleasure, performance, or pasture puppy pet, we all want what's best for our horses. Our mission at the Natural Horse Vet is to provide natural alternatives that work.
Bug check. No more sprays, no more chemicals. Just a small amount each day on the feed will significantly reduce the fly and mosquito population. Plus, it is healthy, not potentially harmful.
It's our goal to provide the most effective natural alternatives for you, your horse, and even your pet. So visit your veterinarian, visit your tack store, or visit us online for our special offers.
In UMH shows, and on the UMH show circuit, we believe function follows form. A judge should judge a horse in conformation on his walk, how he strides through from the back end and pushes forward, how well he is built in his shoulders, through his back and across his loins, how his withers coupled together with his back. Also, this horse would be criticized, should the case be, on temperament. We market our mountain horses much on their temperament. If a horse will not stand and work properly in conformation, he would be penalized for his temperament. This horse is a 8-year-old stallion named Silver Hills Jake, being demonstrated by Charlie Diatley. In the past, this horse has won many conformation awards. Particularly as a 3-year-old, he was very strong in conformation. One of the skills our mountain horses learn for versatility competition is the side pass. Here we have 4 versatile mountain horses demonstrating the side pass. If you look at this group of horses, you also know that they're of very different colors. The horse facing me now, the first horse to side pass to the left here, is Sarah's Desperado, ridden by Aaron Lawson. He is what we call a champagne horse. The next horse, side passing to the left, is New Edition. She is a chocolate horse with a flax mane and tail. The next horse, side passing to the left, is Sam's Blazing Star. She is ridden by Josette Knowles. She is considered a red chocolate. The fourth horse, Barb Stormy Night, ridden by Jessica Shannon, is also considered a chocolate in this breed without the flax mane and tail, but technically we believe he's a light bay. Okay, we have here Sam's Blazing Star, ridden by Jessica Shannon. This mare would fit into our Trail Pleasure division real well. What you see the mare doing right now is our show walk. Pretty soon we'll step this mare on up now to a pleasure gait. The difference in the pleasure gait and the show walk is it's more extended, a little more animation, a little more speed. Another requirement in this class is a walk. The horse should walk on a loose rein and relaxed. This horse is doing a really nice walk. This is Doc's Mr. Sandman, ridden by Charlie Diatley. This horse is considered a park pleasure horse. He is in his show gait at this time. He is now moving up into what we call his pleasure gait, which is a more extended gait. As in all other divisions, a horse in the pleasure gait must come down and walk on a loose rein.
Today I'd like to talk about a real important issue, an issue that certainly every horse owner is concerned about, and that's deworming your horses. You know, in my opinion, I think we're not really doing the best for our horses the way we deworm them today. We basically have a situation where we're deworming when maybe they don't need to be dewormed. You know, I don't know many people today that don't deworm every 2 months, every 3 months, at least twice a year. But you know what? What if your horse didn't have worms and you still gave him those chemicals? Is that not an unnecessary use of chemicals? As a natural vet, I actually think it is. And I want to propose something a little bit different. And it's not just coming from me. This is a proposal that's actually been made by a lot of leading parasitologists around the country. And that's that instead of just indiscriminately deworming, we take a little look at a different way of doing it, and that is checking your horse for worms before you use the chemicals. Actually do fecal exams. You know, I don't think all horses have worms. I think as they get older, many horses are actually resistant to worms. You know, we do a lot of parasite exams in our practice, and that's what I've found. Not all horses have worms, and I think the misconception is that we think they all have them, so we just deworm them and deworm them and deworm them. But the truth is they're all exposed to worms, but they don't all have them. But you know, we're probably all being exposed to influenza today, but we're probably not going to go home and take an antibiotic just because. But that's what we're doing with their horses. We're deworming just because. So if we did fecal exams and checked them and only treated them if they needed it, then I think we would be doing our horses a great service, and we'd also be doing our environment a great service, because we're not creating parasites that are resistant to chemicals. And that's a major issue today. Here in the Southeast, we have resistant parasites, parasites that nothing works for. Strongyles, for instance. Very few chemicals are working for strongyles today. Pinworms down in Florida, I know, is a tremendous problem. And that, in my opinion, is because we've overused these dewormers. So without a doubt, the key is to check your horses on a regular basis for parasites, treat them if they need them, and then I want to offer one more solution, and that's a little more natural approach to treating them if they need it. We've been able to look at a lot of different herbs to use for deworming, or at least to help prevent parasites. And we've been able to put some pretty good products together, and there's some products on the market that can do a fantastic job deworming. So I hope you'll take a look at that approach. I hope you'll consider deworming less, and deworming especially only when they need it.
The initial founders of United Mountain Horse Incorporated were motivated by several objectives and concerns. They desired to establish a national show circuit with all mountain horses that would compete in a variety of requirements for successful promotion of the horse. It is important that horses exhibit in the horse show circuit so that their naturally and their occurring style of each mountain horse have a place to show in their own merits and equal prestige. Approximately 47 shows have been sanctioned with United Mountain Horse. These events are now ranging in location from the West Coast to the East Coast and Canada. The show circuit features a family orientation of classes that are open to the youth, amateur, and novice riders, as well as professional trainers. The shows are provided a full range of natural ways of going. Classes are providing through each mountain horse a place to excel in their own style: country trail, trail, classic, and park. These classes can be seen at all shows. It is now possible for exhibitors, young, old, novice, or professional, to bring all their horses to one show or an event and to be successful in the exhibit, regardless of the style of going or breed registry. The United Mountain Horse Incorporated had goals and future plans to further bring together the breed. Property has been purchased with future plans to bring to the state of Kentucky a beautiful showground with an arena and barns. The UMH has several programs starting this year: the American Gaited Mountain Horse Blood Registry, the Merit Program, and the Breeders' Cup are all new and exciting programs sponsored by United Mountain Horse to further promote the preserve of the mountain horse breed. We hope that you have enjoyed learning and discovering more about the beautiful breed. Please contact the United Mountain Horse office for further information and join one of the fastest growing breeds of horses today.
Pleasure, performance, or pasture puppy pet, we all want what's best for our horses. Our mission at the Natural Horse Vet is to provide natural alternatives that work.
Try Hoof Check, not just biotin and minerals, but gut microbials, Mother Nature's minerals, biotin, amino acids, and so much more. Superior nutrition, superior hooves.
It's our goal to provide the most effective natural alternatives for you, your horse, and even your pet. So visit your veterinarian, visit your tack store, or visit us online for our special offers. Allergies are a nightmare. Unfortunately, I see way too many allergies in my practice. Allergies, you know, when you think of allergies, you generally think of one of two types, either skin allergies or lung allergies. Now today we're in this big old barn here that is a great potential source of lung allergies. But it's not the cause of lung allergies, it's just the trigger for lung allergies. Lung allergies like COPD, that's chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, or HEAVS in horses, for instance. That's actually, in my opinion, is kind of like an allergy in the lungs. Now, what most of us think about when we think of allergies is skin allergies, though, where a horse has hives and has bumps all over his skin. You know, the typical trigger for that, other than dust and hay and so on, like with lungs, the typical trigger for these skin allergies is flies. But flies really aren't the cause. I mean, that kind of blows my mind to even think that flies could possibly be a cause, because, you know, horses were born to live outside. They're born to be with flies. They're born to be with dust and everything too. So what is the real cause of allergies? And that's what I think we really need to look at today. Not what triggers them, not the dust, not the flies, not things like that, but what have we done to our horses to make allergies be so common today? Well, as a natural vet, I've got to tell you, I think that without a doubt we've over-vaccinated our horses. You know, we've injected way too many foreign substances into their body. Many of your vaccines are preserved with heavy metals, for instance. They're grown in other tissue, other species, other animals, and we just keep injecting our horses with foreign substances that sooner or later the horse doesn't know what to react to. It's been vaccinated, hypersensitized so much that sooner or later they just start reacting to everything. So dust and flies can trigger that hypersensitization process. Another thing that I think we have a problem with as far as allergies is minerals. And I know I talk a lot about minerals, but I really think that our horses are getting way too much of what they don't need mineral-wise and not enough of what they do need. For instance, selenium. A lot of us will supplement with selenium in our horses' diets. Well, most selenium in supplements actually is a waste product of copper mining. So there's a lot of potential for contaminants that get into our horses' systems that they have to take care of one way or another. And then, of course, I personally believe that there's micronutrients that they're just not getting in their diets today, and I think these micronutrients, or the lack thereof, is part of that whole allergy product. You know, allergies weren't even known of until the Industrial Revolution. Can you imagine an Indian way back when sneaking up on his prey and all of a sudden sneezing? You know, allergies were just non-existent. But today, we've taken such good care of our horses that I think sometimes we take too good a care. You know, we've over-vaccinated, we've exposed them to sprays and chemicals and things like that that their body has to react to. They're possibly getting things in their food that they don't need. We talked about the heavy metals a little bit. So you got to get rid of that junk out of the body, and you got to try to prevent from putting so much back on and in the body.
This Australian Shepherd dog got a very large mass on the back of her neck. Came up very quickly. It was about the size of an orange, and she had surgery, had it removed. It was a very large wound. She had 10 staples necessary to close it. And for almost 2 weeks, we tried all the medications that had been given to us, topical and oral, and it just would not heal. It was a really nasty, nasty opening. And one day my husband said, well, go get Dr. Dan's grape balm, which we use on our horses, and try it on Ollie. So I put it on there, and within a day and a half, 2 days, the wound had completely closed up and it healed immediately. We use it on horses, we've used it now on dogs, we've used it on ourselves a couple of times, and it's just the most incredible product ever on the market.
Nothing gets my blood flowing more than a world championship class. It's awesome. But let me tell you, if you already have a champion, or if you're making a champion, or let's say you've got a horse with lung problems, or you have a baby that you're just starting into training, you know, you might want to consider a joint formula for that horse. There's tons of joint formulas on the market, and I'd just like to take just a second and share with you some information about all the differences as far as joint formulas go. You know, as I said, there's tons of them. Most of them have glucosamine, most of them have chondroitin. Sometimes they'll have maybe a little yucca, or, but you know, they're not all the same. I promise you, some are better than others. And if I could, I'd like to tell you why our joint formula is better. It's awesome. It's a combination of products. It's called Joint Check. And the thing about Joint Check, it has your glucosamines and your chondroitins, but it also has astragalus and boswellia. You know, boswellia, another name for it is frankincense. You probably remember that term. It was a great gift about 2,000 years ago, to say the least, because it's such a great anti-inflammatory product. But you know, other simple things that set our product apart. For instance, if you don't have the right copper, zinc, or manganese, you're pretty much wasting your money as far as glucosamine goes. Another important need for a joint formula is a really good antioxidant mix to go with it. Because anytime you have any inflammation, you got to get the junk out of the cell too. You know, you don't just want to give them the glucosamine and the chondroitin that helps with the joints, helps lubricate the joints and so on, but you got to get rid of the junk. And that's what those antioxidants do. We have so many antioxidants in our product that it's Health Check all by itself. Everything that's in here is in our joint formula, plus the glucosamines and the chondroitins. So if you're making a champion, or whether you already have one and you want to keep them a champion, I sure hope you'll take a look at our product called Joint Check. Pleasure, performance, or pasture puppy pet, we all want what's best for our horses. Our mission at the Natural Horse Vet is to provide natural alternatives that work.
Try Joint Check. Over 6,000 milligrams per ounce of glucosamine chondroitin complex and 21 herbal antioxidants. Joint Check, healthy joints, healthy horse.
It's our goal to provide the most effective natural alternatives for you, your horse, and even your pet. So visit your veterinarian, visit your tack store, or visit us online for our special offers.
Why I got involved with mountain horses, my daughter Julia always wanted a horse, and living in eastern Kentucky is pretty difficult for us because we lived in a small town. There weren't very many riding facilities around. But she finally talked me into getting her a horse when she was 18 years old, which has been about 7 or 8 years ago. And we bought her first horse, Blackjack. He was a Rocky Mountain gelding. He was a pretty nice horse, but he really didn't get me excited about the horses. I really got excited about these horses when we built our farm, Fairwinds, and we had our own barn and training facility. And I read the book by Monty Roberts, The Man Who Talked to Horses. And at that time, I was impressed by the use of body language that horses use to communicate. And Monty spelled out in his book how the humans could communicate with horses by use of body language. So after I read that, I went out with one of my horses. Her name was Chelsea. And I put her in a round pen and I gave her the body language, and she responded exactly the way that Monty Roberts had said. And this was a changing point in my life. I became deeply involved in horses. I thought it was a wonderful thing. I really developed my love for them.
Natural salt and minerals, natural supplements, natural feeds, natural mountain horse. What an awesome breed, folks. Naturally gaited the day they're born, just as natural as they come. That's why we want to share them with you today. Guaranteed you won't be disappointed with one. They even have pasture puppy personalities, that's for sure. They absolutely love people. I guess by now you know I have some answers for you. Now you may not always agree with my answers, and I hope that's okay. But you're always free to ask. Just log on to our website, naturalhorsevet.com. There's a free Ask the Vet click right there on our site. You can actually even view these TV segments right online. You can read hundreds of healthcare articles, and we even have products for pets and products for people as well. So check us out online. We're online, we're on TV.